Hey guys, welcome in. It is Sports Memo Today. I'm Joe Ranieri filling in for Mr. Dan Alexander, but we've got ourselves a couple of great handicappers with some great things going on. Loaded slates of games here today. We're going to talk to Ross Benjamin. We're going to talk to Moneyline Matt. We're going to break down a few of these games coming up. NFL, college football, NBA. We got a lot coming your way, but do, of course, want to remind you that it is a $2 Tuesday situation right now. And our first guest up, well, Ross Benjamin, he is our $2 handicapper at SportsMemo.com, which means, of course, his best bet right now, $2. And the great news is this play ain't going off until the weekend. So you got plenty of opportunity, guys, to visit Ross over at SportsMemo.com and get it done. And Ross, welcome in, my man. What is going on with you?
Very good. Everything's going good, Joe. NFL flying along here. We're 42-25 since January 30th of this year, 62%. So 8-0 on NFL 5-star and 10-star picks this year during the regular season action. And I'll have one of those on Sunday for $2 in the Miami and Cleveland game. So those viewers out there, I hope they take advantage of this glorious opportunity to make money. You know, you mentioned I'm a $2 handicapper. I'm a $1 million handicapper, Joe, with a $2 sale offer. How's that?
I love that, Ross. As a matter of fact, that is fantastic. Listen, the good news is plenty of opportunities, and you're right. I mean, since September, my man, you have been crushing it. Plus 5,000 in profits for your clients. You've been crushing it. Your clients, thank you. I can absolutely, you're going to get a little something in the Christmas list, I'm sure, this year, Russ. But let's talk about a couple of these games that are coming up. We'll start in college. We got Alabama and Ole Miss this week, and I don't know. Alabama, stick a fork in them. Season's over. 2 losses. What do you do here? How do you go? Can they go to Starksville and handle business? What do you think we get here?
Yeah, I think they can. As a matter of fact, you know, look, here's the thing, and the line speaks volumes to me. You have an Alabama team 7-2, ranked number 10. Ole Miss 8-1, ranked number 11. So you got the team with not as good a record as a double-digit favorite on the road against an opponent in Ole Miss that if they win out, you'd make a hard case not to leave them out of the college football playoff. And here's the other thing. Alabama off a loss, Joe.
Yeah.
They're coming off that 32-31 heartbreaking loss in overtime to LSU. And Alabama since 2016, following an in-season loss, and I'm talking about a loss that happens within the season and they're playing a game the following week or the game after in the same season, not a bowl game loss, not a college football playoff loss, an in-season loss since 2016, 5-0 straight up in ATS in that situation, winning by 24.5 points per game. And for those of you out there who are thinking Ole Miss could run the table, including this win, well, not so fast because Alabama hasn't lost back-to-back games, Joe, since 2013. So this is also an Ole Miss team that only lost this season has come at LSU, 45-20. And if you're into common opponents, I just mentioned Alabama only lost that game by 1 in overtime last week. So that speaks volumes for Alabama as well. And here's another thing, Joe. College football, double-digit road favorites like Alabama that are coming off a road double-digit favorite straight-up loss. 9-0 straight up and 8-1 against the spread since 2001. And that they win those games by an average of 27.2 points per game. I don't think, Alabama's national championship hopes may be dashed, but I think they'll come up strong in this game coming off a loss, Joe. I'm going to lay 11 on the road at Ole Miss with Alabama.
It's been a while since Saban has had to do a coaching job like this to get that locker room motivated because those guys don't go to Alabama to play in the who gives a crap bowl. So this is going to be real interesting, Ross. And by the way, it's in Oxford, not Starksville. Georgia is in Starksville with Mississippi State. So apologize for that. This game, though, guys, 3:30 Eastern time kick on Saturday, and it should be a whole lot of fun. Now we'll switch to Sunday, Ross, because There's a pretty good one on Sunday, too, with a couple of NFC teams that probably don't like each other, but they got a rich history, both of these two teams, as Green Bay is taking on Dallas. I think the big question is, how many points does Green Bay score? 3, 6, 5, 4? Is it a baseball game? What are we going to get here between these two teams this weekend?
I think we're going to get a surprise, to be honest with you. I think this is a sucker play of the week, and I'm going out on a limb by saying that. And if I'm not right, I'm sure I'll get some backlash. That's okay. I got broad shoulders, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas currently -5. Look, the Cowboys coming off a 49-29 home win against Chicago. Green Bay coming off a 15-9 loss at Detroit, which dropped their record to 3-6. Not only are they 3-6, they've lost 5 in a row, and as Joe alluded to, mighty struggles offensively. It's really hard to see an Aaron Rodgers led offense struggle the way they have been. However, you look at this magic number of 5. Some people call it the evil number. A wise man told me a long time ago, if you can get 5, 5.5, you should look for a reason to use the underdog. And I am going to use that reason today because NFL home underdogs this year of 5 or 5.5, and since 2014, NFL home underdogs of 5 or 5.5, and they're not coming off a bye week because Green Bay played last week, and they have a win percentage of 625 or less, like Green Bay has. 15-0 against the spread since 2014. Matter of fact, all NFL underdogs of 5 or 5.5 in all situations, 19-5 against the spread since last year. There's a ton of bets right now, Joe, going the way of Green Bay. 80% of the total bets and 80% of the money thus far, and we're talking early, right, has gone the way of Green Bay. And to me, when I see that, I look to use a contrarian approach, and I certainly didn't have to look far to do that. So I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. I know I'll be in a minority, and I'll take a lot of heat if I lose this game, but I'm taking the Packers plus the 5 at Dallas.
Only way to look, Ross. Outstanding stuff. It's going to be a fun one, too. Don't be caught on the wrong side. And by the way, do not miss the opportunity to head over to SportsMemo.com. Visit Ross's page. Ross, that best bet is up now. It doesn't go until this weekend. Just $2. Is that correct?
That's it. Just $2. $2, folks. And you know what? It's a 5-star top play in that game, Cleveland and Miami. And reminding everybody again, 8-0 with my 5-star and 10-star top plays in the NFL this regular season. And like Joe touched upon earlier, nice run for me in the NFL at 42-25, good for 62% since January 30th of this year. I think that's pretty good, Joe.
You think? Yeah, a couple of bucks there. Get the hell out of here, Ross. Always a pleasure, my man. Don't forget, visit him over at SportsMemo.com. No reason not to make it a profitable weekend here, guys, for just $2 right now at SportsMemo.com. All right, we're going to keep the cash train rolling here, and what better way to do so than to bring in a dude whose name begins with money. Moneyline Matt in the house here, SportsMemo.com. Matty, what's going on with you, man? What's new and exciting?
Hey, Joe, it's a great day today. I went and voted. I did my American duty, so it's always a good day when that's going on. I got my plays up today. We are on an 8-2 NBA run. NFL still right at 50%. Definitely want to get that up as I close the season. But 4-unit plays are hitting at 100% this season. Don't have a 5-unit play up for the NFL just yet, but when that happens, definitely keep a lookout for it because we're hitting at 100%.
Yeah, guys, outstanding stuff there from Moneyline Matt. It's been one hell of a October. It's going to be one hell of a November so far. And NBA and NFL, I think, in your future here, my man. You've been crushing it in both. So let's talk a little association here. Off today, so everyone can do their civic duty and go vote, and certainly hope you guys have done so. But when it resumes, we've got ourselves, I believe, Orlando and Dallas coming up here, and I don't know what the hell that was last night with Dallas and Brooklyn. It looked like 1996 basketball. It was hilarious. Nobody made it to 100 points. I'm all right with seeing that every now and then, but what do you think? Are we going to get that again with the Magic and the Mavs?
No, for this game, I think it'll be a slower style basketball game. You know, the Mavericks actually run one of the slower paces throughout the NBA. They have one of the slower offensive time of possession. So, in terms of how long they get into their sets, how long they get into their motion, the Mavericks are one of the slowest in terms of time spent in the shot clock, okay? And the Magic are right there with them. You know, they're a slow paced team. They have some huge guys down low with Wendell Carter Jr., with Bol, and then, of course, Paolo Banchero, who has been playing just unbelievable as a rookie this year. And one of the things that I'm most impressed with Paolo Banchero is the fact that he is 6'10", 250 pounds, 19 years old. This dude has an NBA body ready to roll. And that's actually why I'm siding with the Magic +7 in this game. I think this is going to be a public-heavy Mavericks game, and the Magic are actually a lot better than advertised. You know, yes, Cole Anthony is out right now. He's probably the best guard they have. But Jalen Suggs slides in, fills that role very well. They have Franz Wagner, who's really taken a step forward this year, a long, lengthy forward. Of course, like I mentioned, Paolo Banchero. And then you have Bol and Wendell Carter Jr. locking down that middle. And that's a big thing for me right there, is those guys locking down that middle, because when looking at the Mavericks, when Luka Doncic even has a little bit of an off game, there is a big downfall from this Mavericks team. They've played 3 times on the road this season. They've lost all 3 games. And I do believe that's due to some of the inconsistencies with the fall off after Luka. You know, Spencer Dinwiddie, very nice piece, averages around 15 points per game, but still somewhat inconsistent. Christian Wood in that center spot, averaging around 15.8 per game, and still a little inconsistent due to his defensive presence in that middle. He's someone that you can take advantage of, and that's also why we're seeing Dwight Powell slide back into that lineup. When looking at this Magic team, however, they can kind of do it all over. They have numerous guys who can go and get you points. They're solid defensively. And again, they have guys who can match up with Luka Doncic. And yes, not a lot of people know about this Magic team, but they're a good, solid, young squad who plays hard every single outing. Mavericks are going on the road once again, in which they've lost all 3 matchups. I side with the Magic here in the +7.
Can't argue with you there at all. You're right. The public is going to be all over the Dallas Mavs here, but slow down here, guys. Winners of 5 of their last 6, but I think there might be a little surprise here somewhere for them. And I'm with you, too. Love Banchero. Love the youth of Orlando. Going to be a fun season. They're going to get better and better, too, as the season progresses. Also, we got an NFL game coming up here this weekend, and I know a little something about this team right down the road from me. Talk to me about the Miami Dolphins here, taking on the Cleveland Browns. Miami, there isn't a team alive they can't score upon. Whether or not they can stop the other team is a different story. But what do you think about the Dolphins-Browns this weekend?
Yeah, 100%. And you said it, Joe. So for the Browns versus Dolphins this weekend, the Dolphins have a -4 spread here at home. And I'm going to be siding with the Dolphins. It's actually at -3.5 now. But still going with the Dolphins, still like that spot. To your point, the Dolphins are 8th in points per game on the season, 1st in passing yards, but 27th in rushing yards per game. That has been somewhat of a weakness for them. But again, when you're facing the Cleveland Browns, who have given up a lot of points throughout the year, I still like this spot. And then in addition to that, when you look at this Miami Dolphins team, with Tua at the helm, they still haven't lost this year. And in terms of the points per game, the passing yards per game, the offensive efficiency, I actually think it would be better if Tua could have played the entire season. In addition to that, I really, really like what Mike McDaniel brings to this team in terms of the offensive sets, the motions that he uses. It's a very difficult offense to face, and one that defensively you do not see throughout the NFL. He's also bringing in all of his 49er guys, you know, with Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert, guys who know that offense, who you can plug in right away. So he is focused on that rushing attack and trying to get it going. I think it just takes a little time on top of that. Now, when you look at the Cleveland Browns, of course, they're one of the best at rushing the football throughout the entire NFL with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And that is the Dolphins' weakness. So it is definitely something that you have to think about. But for me, when looking at these two teams, it comes down to Jacoby Brissett versus Tua. You know, Tua has Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki. They're the fastest offense throughout the entire NFL. And yes, I do think the Browns will be able to score on the Dolphins, but I just think the Dolphins are too much to keep up with. Again, when you're comparing Tua to Jacoby Brissett, when it comes down, you know, the game gets maybe in the third quarter, fourth quarter, who's going to make that mistake? I'm going to side with Jacoby Brissett there. You know, the Cleveland Browns, on top of that, have only won once on the road all season. They've never won more than one game in a row. They won last week against the Cincinnati Bengals, which for me was more of a spot game. You know, Cincinnati had been rolling. They're going into Cleveland, kind of overlooking them a little bit. Now, I think the Miami Dolphins will have all their attention on this Browns team coming into Miami. They're traveling on the road to play. On top of that, this is a Browns team that I just think is too inconsistent, and I like this Dolphins team to cover that -3.5 spread. Every week we see how potent this offense truly is, how hard they are to keep up with, and I just don't trust Jacoby Brissett in particular to keep them in this game down the stretch. So I'm with the Dolphins here.
Yeah, I don't trust Stefanski either, because I guarantee he's going to do something stupid in the game at some particular point to blow it for his team. All right, talk to me here, Moneyline Matt. I know over at SportsMemo.com, you got something locked and loaded there for us. What do you got right now?
Yeah, so I do have a 4-unit play up right now. I wanted to grab that line earlier in the week. Looking at another one. So I'm going to have 2 early NFL plays, and every single NFL card I generally have around 5 plays. NBA, on the other hand, I have around 65 plays already through the season. I'm a past pro DFS player, so I'm always hammering the NBA slate. So if you're looking for plays, you know, every single day with the NBA, and then in particular this weekend with the NFL, already got a 4% play up, and I'm kind of flirting with my first 5% for the NFL on top of that. So definitely want to check that out.
Going to be one hell of a weekend. NBA returns again tomorrow for him. And don't forget, of course, those NFL plays locked and loaded over on his page. Moneyline Matt over at SportsMemo.com. Matt, best of luck, my man. It is always a pleasure to see you guys. And don't forget, you got $2 Tuesday handicapper there, Ross Benjamin. You got Moneyline Matt locked and loaded in the NFL, soon to be NBA games as well. Off tonight, they'll be back in action. There is absolutely no reason not to make it a very profitable week here. Just head over there. Visit Ross, visit Moneyline Matt, and of course, just visit the entire roster at SportsMemo.com. They've got you covered. And make sure you hit that subscribe button and the like button. Make plans to come back and join us again on Thursday. Dan Alexander will be back in this seat. We'll have 2 more of the great Sports Memo handicappers here breaking down games for you. And until then, best of luck with all your plays, guys. We'll catch you on Thursday. Good luck.